Right, there you go.
As I grew up in Brushwood, there was nothing apart from, as I said, the other family over the back of us. And the creek would flood, oh, you've got no idea. When you drive to Coolman now, and you've got asphalt roads and built up over causeways, and she'd flood, and the water would just gush down. And we'd be cut off, like from Coolman, completely cut off. We could still get to school. And there used to be at the hotel, there was like a cabin coach thing, like a closed-in coach thing of van, and the old groomsmen from the Royal Hotel would meet the train, and the dentists and the travellers, and they'd hop in this thing. So when the flood was on, we would hop in with them too, but other times we'd run to school from the train. And the kids on that side of the line wouldn't get to school, but we'd get to school, and we lived at Brushwood. but Dad used to tie a rope. There was so many cars stranded, and Dad would he'd tie a rope around Jack to go out, and then they'd tie a rope onto cars, and Dad would pull them out with the old shoe. God, and now you never see it like that. So then in the harvest, it was thriving, because they had the weigh bridges and the chaff. The chaff trucks used to come there and unload and load the trucks. There was a loop line that the trains went into, and the silos would be shunting out the wheat. And so she was and there was one old chap had a bullock wagon. They called him Deafy Hetherington. That was it, because he was deaf. And I mean, you imagine anyone, that was how they referred to him, as Deafy Hetherington, but I think his name was George. And he'd bring the wheat and the whatever, he'd come through with his bullock team. The only time I've ever seen anyone, he'd crack the whip and belt those bullocks, and yeah. Otherwise it was all horse teams. And then it become solid wheels, rubber tired, trucks that came in with start to bring the wheat and that in. And often they'd have to camp overnight, and because there'd be no trucks they'd be held up. And Mum was good-hearted. She'd make scones for them and boil the kettles for Billy, give them billies of tea. Half of them never thought about bringing a butter wheat in for Dad or Mum's chooks. Yeah, so we grew up quite happy. We entertained ourselves a lot. Dad would bring the double trike home for the weekend, and the kids would pull it down to Sunday school. Now the kids don't even know what a Sunday school is. So when you think of it, over the Brushwood days, and Ganmain then, oh yeah, Ganmain was thriving. There was 1, 2, 3, 4 garages. Your grandfather had one. There was one around where the fertilisers are. There was down by the creek where Doug Steele finally owned, and ours up where Central Garage is still today. So, and there was 2 butchers, 2 barbers, 2 drapery shops, 2 grocers. You can't believe that to see the town today with it. We can't even, that there's only the one garage, one garage still functioning. Logan's is as a machinery one. And we owned the Central Garage then from when we came back in 1952, 18 months later, when we bought it off Ken Logan, and Bert came back and built it up. He really built it up for them when he came back, and him and his cousin Noel Brill bought it. And he worked till all hours of the night trying to pay that off. And when you think of today, I think we had to pay £8,000 for it. And that was a huge amount of money in those days.
My word, it would be a lot of money.
It was a lot of money. Yeah. Well, it was for us.
For anybody.
Because Bert only had whatever he come out of the army as his savings. And that was pittance. We could have bought a lovely home in Chermit for £1,250. So we came back here from the little house that we had at Chermit, and we walked into this one. It was the 3 rooms and a skillion back with a little kitchen, a little gauze-in back veranda, and a tin roof over in the bathroom with a chip heater. And when I think of it, oh God, I sat down and cried. But said, well, it was your doings that you come back here, which was, I pestered him to come back. But I didn't really know anyone much when I come back, you know, because I'd been away from here for a long while then. And then, but luckily I lived alongside of Wyn Pratton, which people of today would remember Wyn's lovely laugh, and Wyn and Stan were our neighbours, and Wyn was Bert's cousin, of course. Then I got into the church, and then we formed the RSL Auxiliary. Well, no, we didn't form it. It was already going. Mrs. Maloney and Mrs. Logan and all those used to be in it. And then Wyn and I took over as president and secretary, and Alice Buchanan, she became treasurer. Island Granger took over, and I was president for about 16 years till I had June, whatever. And then today, Anne Brill still keeps us going as an auxiliary with about 6 of us. And we don't do any fundraising, we don't do anything today, but pay our subs and that's it, yeah. But now to think that you can't believe that it would close a butcher shop down because he still had a wooden bench. We got the best meat that ever anyone could get from Warren's Butchers. And when you think of it, we used to you just get your side of lamb or whatever you got for £15 or 15 shillings a week or something. Oh, it was so ridiculous when you think of the change in wages and the value of everything. We had to buy this house, this three main rooms and the little back on it, and there was a laundry outside with the copper and the toilet down the back. And that's my brother was talking about. That was a funny joke about the Dunnies being down the back, but I'll tell you that, but I'm not on the air. And anyway, we had to buy it. Mrs. Logan wanted to sell it. All these houses were built by Halbridges, the 3 houses alongside us, and we had to pay £500, and it wasn't long after we bought the garage. So to have £500 then on top of trying to pay the garage off was a big thing. Yeah.